and it was an interesting test. And a lot of the, what I call the flat earthers out there, the science only guys, they came out in full force. They jumped all over that.
I'm going to use this word intentionally, infecting other subjects that you wouldn't necessarily associate with Flat Earth. And I've discussed it so many times now on other shows where I'll come across a subject that I think is interesting, and as escapism, if you want to call it that, because it's work. This is my job. I'm not going to beat around the bush when it comes to describing what I do for a living. This is it. YouTubing, Flat Earth, that's what I do. So when you do YouTubing in the respect that most people do YouTubing, which is watch a video, you don't necessarily want it to be anything to do with Flat Earth. You just want to watch a video about cars, and then you come across Engineering Explained, doing a video on Flat Earth. Or you want to watch a video about horror, and then you find 42s doing a video about Flat Earth. Or you want to watch a video about hi-fi, and you come across GR Research wearing a Flat Earth t-shirt telling you that you're a Flat Earther if you don't believe his smoke and mirrors snake oil stories about cabling.
Yeah, I was just saying that this guy, he just brought up Flat Earth and how people get into conspiracies, and they just, no matter what, you show them the science and they still don't believe it. So I was like, this guy's unreal. So I started chatting, and I started saying, well, Earth is flat. Why don't you look into it? And then I just plugged your channel. I said, pop on for debate anytime.
What surprised me in one of the comments of that, the most recent video I've released by GR Research, was one of his commenters specifically noted that he didn't say he was a flat earther. He said, you have no idea how many people who watch your videos are flat earthers and are interested in crossovers or whatever. I can't remember exactly. I'm paraphrasing very badly. I can't remember exactly how the commenter phrased it. But the commenter was basically saying, look, a lot of your audience are flat earthers, you realise. In other words, don't talk down to flat earthers, just talk about crossovers, right? That's your channel. Do what you do, because that's what I've come for. Now, his sentiment was exactly my sentiment, and I responded to him. I was like, yeah, I intended to make a video on this guy, and it's true, I almost got to the end of editing a video on it and then decided against it. I'm like, why get between this guy and his earnings? I don't see the point. It's not enough just because he's been sent a t-shirt. Go on, whoever that is.
You know what bothers
Hello.
me? They don't even look into it. Hey, they don't even look into it. They just dog you, and that's it.
I've got no issue with him being a total normie. That's why I stopped making the first video that I edited. It's still sat on my iPad, not going to be completed. But I've got no issue with that. So if it's like, well, I don't really get this, but yeah, of course Earth's a sphere. You're like, am I going to go away and debunk this guy? He's not associated with the subject. Someone's just sent him a t-shirt. But it gets worse, or that was why I edited the first video, because he's saying, well, you're a flat earther if you don't believe my cable nonsense. You're like, well, okay, I get it. You want to sort of associate this free t-shirt with the subject that you're covering. That is almost enough for me to make and publish a video. Enough for me to edit one, for sure. But then when it goes, all of the above, plus science, and then claiming science when you're talking about listening tests, and then if you don't believe my anecdotal evidence of a listening test being better, you're a flat earther. It's like, well, that's just a step too far now. I've got to respond. So check that video out. It's called Hi-Fi versus Science versus Flat Earth.
Oh, we're trying to cover up our nonsense and lies. It's getting kind of obvious. Oh, flat earther. So everybody's going to just associate it white. So flat earthers are against these liars. Okay.
He kind of wasn't really addressing, it didn't strike me he was addressing flat earth as such. He was more using it in a Barack Obama kind of ad hom sense in related to the other people, and then that was, or has he got a bit more history with flat earth? Has he?
No, he hasn't. That's as much as it goes. And like I said, I wouldn't necessarily react, or almost did, to that if that was all it was. Because you're like, yeah, you're just using it as an ad hom. Exactly correct, Adam. So is that enough for me to start debunking him on a flat earth basis? No. I just, for anybody who's like, well, so what? It's like, no. If you've got a correctly designed amplifier, no power conditioner is going to make a slightest bit of difference to it. It's absolutely preposterous. So, yeah, you can argue to a certain degree that speaker cables can make a difference. If you get them wrong, you can make it worse. So, yeah, you can just about make that argument. when it gets up to thousands of pounds for speaker pipe cables, it's just nonsense. The same with power conditioners, but there is no benefit whatsoever. You could get the gauge wrong slightly and not have enough current go through it and it get hot. But that's about it. If you've got enough copper in there, there's enough wire, that's all you need. The amplifier should be capable of dealing with any interference that comes down the mains. If it's not, it's a shit amplifier. So to propose that you need power conditioners is the most absurd nonsense you could have in terms of a claim for improving audio fidelity, which is very much measurable. And this is the point. Measuring things is not science. Now, a lot of these clowns out there that punt smoke and mirrors will claim science. And they're actually doing something, measuring and presenting their data, which is great. It's just not science. Again, not enough for me to get involved and call foul. It's vernacular that is part of the general world's vernacular. They all use this magic trick when they're doing maths and claim science. Now you go, okay, fine. It doesn't frustrate me to the point where I need to address them in a flat earth manner. He's talking about science and then talking about your denial of science making you a flat earther. You know, at that point, that's the trifecta that gets you a response from a flat earther. And in this instance, he's not worthy of attack on flat earth level, but I know every little detail there is to know about his bullshit when it comes to mains conditioning cables. Utter horseshit. So it's like, fine, you know, you want to keep making videos and addressing flat earthers who don't believe your nonsense, then you're going to get a response that actually calls out your nonsense in hi-fi terms.
Yeah, that reminds me of the saying, don't throw rocks if you live in glass houses.
Yeah, if you're gonna go around punting your smoke and mirrors, to a degree I'll be sympathetic. It's like, yeah, you got to make a profit, right? And I get it. People need wire to up their margins. I get it. You got to make a living. So yeah, it's smoke and mirrors, but on the other hand, I've done it too. I was in the industry. I totally get it. So that gets a pass. Yeah, you could debunk it. Yeah, you could present measurements. Yeah, you could show it's all nonsense. But that's part of the industry. Why take away a man's meal when you don't need to? But moving that into the realms of you're an idiot if you don't believe me and you're a flat earther therefore, oh God, that's too far. Or is it? Well, it is when they start saying that what they've got is science. It's like, no, right, that's it now. Science, you're a flat earther if you don't believe me and you're not presenting any. Sod that.
No, it happens to all of us. It's happened to me on several occasions where the topic will come up and this is the way it comes out of the other person's mouth. Don't tell me you're a flat earther. I mean, that's already derogatory by the tonality and the way they say it. So it's a perfect opportunity to throw back and have a nice conversation. Oh, what do you know about it? You know, or why do you say it in that tone? I mean, it is derogatory when they do it. So it's like, okay, you just opened up yourself for a nice debate because happen to be a little bit knowledgeable here.
Until they give you some type of measured curvature, you're a flat earther as well.
But for anybody who's just joining us, the subject at hand is flat earth seeping into other non-flat earth subjects on YouTube, and how you'll be watching as a flat earther a video and then suddenly the subject will come up from a car YouTuber. You'll be watching a video about Top Gear style shoot-offs with second-hand cars, and then they're talking about how flat earthers think and feel. And you're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, it's filtering into all kinds of areas because they need to let people know through these little jibes that take at us that we're dumb people. We don't know what we're talking about. We're not into science. And it's all the pseudoscience people making up all this stuff, saying this about us. They don't even know what science is. They're denying science now.
So the people who claim we're deniers of science are the first people that will claim science where they aren't actually using the scientific method. It isn't science. But they'll be the first to claim it and then look down their nose at flat earthers. In this instance, us, where we actually do apply science to the claims that are being made about a sphere Earth. And what do we find? They're completely bogus.
Or while saying that, they'll wear a T-shirt that says, not flat, we checked from NASA. Antithesis from the truth. NASA didn't check from a sky vacuum because it doesn't exist. When NASA did check, they very clearly state that it's flat and stationary.
Exactly. If you had more than 25 seconds in the argument, you'd appreciate from us that the claims from NASA are all automatically debunked by the second law of thermodynamics. The sky is not a vacuum. If it was, the air we're breathing would expand in all directions to fill it, and we'd all be dead. Therefore, the sky is not a vacuum in violation of natural law. There is no trips to take pictures of the Earth from space. They have not checked anything. They've lied through their back teeth about an area that doesn't exist, that they claim to take pictures from, and they claim to travel to different rocks that are actually lights in the sky through. Well, if they can travel through the sky vacuum, the air that's expanding at high speeds can also expand into that area, and that's what gas does. We'd never develop pressure, we'd all be dead. Life would never have existed if the sky was a vacuum. We'd never develop pressure. Therefore, the sky vacuum's fake. Outer space is fake.
Did you say they had a T-shirt that said NASA's checked?
So somebody sent him a T-shirt, and this is where this began several weeks ago. And he opens up the T-shirt and says, look, I don't really understand any of this. Someone sent me a T-shirt that says, Earth's not flat, we checked.
Wouldn't that then be an apparel to authority fallacy?
Yes, suppose it was. It's not him that's checking. We checked. Who's we? The authorities.
Apparel to authority. I like that.
Thank you. Thank you, Chocolate. I was waiting for 10th, but no one else got it.
Missed that. I missed that. Sorry.
I missed it too. Go. Flatsoid said it best, is what you said. If Earth is closed, we can't go out. If it's open, we're all dead.
Exactly. They're either lying about travelling out to the second law of thermodynamics violation sky vacuum, in which case every single claim that they make is fake, or we're in a contained system. Now, we have gas pressure. That is proof that we are in a contained system, because without the container, there'd be no pressure. And if, as you can see on screen, this area, although it's cross-section cartoon like every single Sphere Earth picture, here we go, here's a better one. This is high-pressure gas, and this is 10 to the minus 17 torr vacuum. Absolutely absurd. The gas would fill the space. If this is a vacuum, gas is going to be filling it. The space is fake. They haven't checked anything.
Indeed.
Just lied.
And when you ask them for a demonstration of a vacuum of any type, they have to put it in a container and take out all the air. So they can't even have a vacuum without a container to demonstrate here on Earth. And they want us to believe in this picture that there's nothing between the Earth and the sun there, and everything in between is a vacuum. And somehow magically the air hangs around the Earth.
Before we get to the end of this particular discussion, because we veered off away from the video that I made recently or this morning, I want to do a shout out to the guy whose chunk of video I used to debunk the claims about mains conditioners, and that's Ethan Weiner. So Ethan, obviously spelled as Ethan, but Weiner, W-I-N-E-R. And Ethan Weiner is possibly my favourite, if not my second favourite acoustician out there. Very straight talking, ex-audio engineer, has set up multitudes of studios, done multitudes of recordings, wrote books that are used in universities to teach acoustics. The guy knows his stuff. Now, he also understands how to test things, and the equipment's industry standardised for testing. And he knows what to test, how to test it, and he explains in that video. The section that I used was the most concise version I could find that crammed almost everything I could think of that you can test when it comes to audio fidelity. Something that's been well established for hundreds of years now. In terms of the testing,
So,
for the last 80 years, we've had the ability to test this stuff. So there's not much
Sure.
outside the remit of being able to test and justify and show how things differ in terms of quality. So all this, you have to listen, bullshit. No, you don't. We know how to test. We know how to measure. It's not science, it's measuring. Nevertheless, that bullshit is used a lot, and Ethan Weiner dissects it. And he's, like I say, he's one of my favourites. He's absolutely fantastic. Check him out. Check out his Audio Myths workshop. There's a link to that directly below the video that I made this morning. So if nothing else, check out Ethan Weiner. He's brilliant, brilliant guy.
so Nathan, are you saying he gave you sound advice?
Yes, he did indeed. So many of the things that he talks about in terms of acoustically treating a studio, which I've been doing for the last 8 or 9 months, I've taken a lot of his advice and put it into practical application, put my money where my mouth is, bought stuff. So yeah, that's a testament to what he says, and he's taught me many things that I never thought I'd ever know. Having worked in studios, having worked with audio equipment for a good chunk of my life, he's still taught me huge amounts of things that I had no idea even existed as knowledge.